baby. We are live, and it is another Thursday, and you are in the place to be. This is the Locker Room Show. If you are a player, a parent, a coach, there's no other place you should be on Thursday night than the Locker Room Show, and we're going to show you why here in a second, because we got a game, a ton of sauce to give to you tonight. You already see the gentleman in the middle of the screen that I'm going to get into later. A lot of you guys already know this guy, but first and foremost, my boy that holds me down from St. Louis on the other side of the defense, none other than Q the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach? We'll talk. That was a hell of a draft. It was interesting. It was eventful. So we'll touch on that too. We'll touch on that.
Indeed.
Well, if any watching fans, hopefully your team got your guy, and if not, well, good luck to you anyways.
Yes. As always, there are happy people during the draft, and then there's some people mad at the GM and the coaches. But tonight, you guys, it's about the middle of the screen. The guy that I have known for years helped put a Big 12 championship ring on my finger, you guys. A brother of mine from the Colorado Buffaloes, an amazing quarterback, you guys, and we're going to get into his story because it wasn't red carpet by any means, and he's going to teach you guys and talk to you about how to fight your way up the depth chart and let everybody know that you're a player and that you're there to make some plays. So this is Mr. Bobby Pesavento. Like I said, you guys, an amazing quarterback at the University of Colorado, took the team to the only Big 12 championship and on to the Fiesta Bowl. Since then, went on to play some professional ball in the Arena League, you guys. Now is the radio voice, one of the radio voices for your Colorado Buffaloes, and he's got a wealth of knowledge to share with you guys tonight. So excited to have him. What's going on, Bobby?
What's up, fellas? Good to see you guys. Happy to be here.
Hey, man, it's good to have you back on. You're looking good. The Buffaloes, George Clooney, and he's doing his thing. So we're excited to have you on, baby. Let's get after it, man. We always keep, for those that are joining us for the first time, all the topics are on the bottom ticker. And I really wanted to talk to you about this, Bobby, because you didn't have a red carpet journey, man. I know that you came from junior college after Miami of Ohio. And then you were probably promised some things, maybe a chance to really have the head job at CU. And then, we had Craig Oaks come in, who was highly recruited. He was a bolder guy, so a lot of people wanted to see him on the field. And you had to come sometimes off of the bench, and kind of make your way that way. So I wanted to ask you, what's the mindset, man, for someone that deserves to maybe have their shot, but is getting put on the back burner?
Yeah, it's tough, right? There's nothing easy about it. But I think, when I was in that position, you guys were still all my brothers and all my teammates, and I couldn't let you guys down if my number got called, right? So as much as I didn't like it, as much as I thought, right, I should have been the guy once I lost the job. I never hung my head. I never felt sorry for myself. I still worked hard in the weight room, on the practice field, anything we did, right? I still wanted to perform at a high level and be ready and be prepared because, right, everybody tells a story, right? You never know when your number is going to get called. And my story is, it's the epitome, right, of that, of looking at life that way. So I could have hung my head. I could have been lackadaisical, not worked as hard. And then when the opportunity came, I probably wouldn't have been ready. And I probably would have dropped the ball. So it's just a matter of, right, everybody's competing. There's a reason why one guy has a job and one guy doesn't. And you're one play away from, right, taking over a team that was really good. And luckily I played at a high level and carried us to a Big 12 championship, like you mentioned. But it's all upstairs, right? Like I knew I was physically good enough to do it, but I had to stay in it mentally and not check out and always prepare like you're the guy, always prepare like you're the starter, even if you're not, because like I said, right, it's one play and you're in the game. You better know the game plan. You better be ready to roll when it's time. So, it's a mental thing, and you got to be mentally tough. But it also, right? I had guys like UT and other brothers on that team and teammates that supported me, right? Even when I was unhappy about the situation, right? It was like, dude, you're good, man. Just wait. You got it, right? Don't hang your head on us. So it was a collection of things, but right. I mean, I think if you're talking to young kids these days that get put in tough situations, it's you got to make a decision upstairs that you're not going to hang your head, you're not going to pout, and you're going to keep working hard.
That's big, Bobby.
Yeah.
And I know that they were kind of playing around with you, like you'd be on the field and then you had to come off, and then Craig goes down and you're the man. So I know you had to deal with that emotional turmoil. For an athlete that's listening, and we have some quarterbacks that are a part of our program, is there anybody in particular that they should be listening to? Should they seek some type of consultation or mentorship, or should they just keep it all between the blinders and just be about themselves?
I mean, I think if you're choosing to play this position, I think you got a pretty good head on your shoulders, right? You want to be a leader, you want to be the guy. So it's just that choice you decide to make, that you're not gonna hang your head. But you look at guys. I think this position is about how if you're prepared or not. So, right, if you listen to guys like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning talk about playing football, right, and Brady wasn't the guy, right? I mean, he was. I mean, by injury, all of a sudden he became, arguably the best ever, right? So, but he became that guy because of how hard he works and how hard he prepares and how he took care of himself and made sure he was always ready. So, I mean, I think that's a great example. But again, like I mentioned Peyton Manning, right? As good as he wasn't like physically a freak. You know what I mean? He could make the throws that were necessary, but it was all because of what was between the ears with that guy and how well prepared he was and the way he manipulated defenses. So, I think those are good dudes to look up to and try to, mirror your game after, at least mentally, because that's one thing, right? Everybody's gifted with different physical attributes, but right, you can prepare more than anybody else does if you make that choice, right? But that's something you got to want to do. That's the boring, not the exciting part of playing the game. But if you do it the right way, then you're going to have a lot of success.
True.
I love it right there. And you young athletes listening live or recorded, that's the key. Be prepared. Be prepared, because if you get in and you mess up, they're going to say, I told you so. So just like Bobby said, be prepared right there. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and this one is big. I definitely want to talk to you about this. You go from maybe not thinking you're going to see much action your senior year to being the man and actually helping us win a Big 12 championship and kind of everybody in Buffalo country knowing your name. So I wanted to ask you, Bobby, talk to the athletes about life leverage that football can create. Do you think that run that you took us on helped you be able to build things a little bit easier after football, or did it not really help that much?
No, I think it definitely helps, right? I mean, this thing behind me, right? You see the Colorado across the front, but your last name's on the back. So you got to represent both sides of that, right? You got to represent the front for your brothers and your teammates, but then your name's on the back. So you got to make sure you're carrying yourself the right way too. But I would say the success we had, right? The only Big 12 championship, the Nebraska win, all the things that CU fans remember. I've taken that and I moved back to Colorado, and I've chosen to live here and be in the business world, and it goes a long way, right? Kids, right? Football's not going to last forever. You think it will, but it doesn't. But you can always use your experience playing football and the success you've had, when you're in business meetings, right? Because it creates a mindset, right? Whether it's time management or discipline or your work ethic, right? If you transfer that over to whatever you're going to do for a living once the game's over, and you leverage the relationships that you were lucky enough to build because you played a game, right? It can make you pretty dangerous in the business world. So it's been a blessing for me, fellas, right? Like, especially being here around, staying in Colorado, and building businesses and being successful, and just right, because you got CU people that want to help you, right? If you're not a jerk and you're a good person and you spend time with them and you right and you engage with people, a lot of folks who have been successful long before you are going to help you try to get to where they are.
Absolutely.
Talk to me, Rock Chalk. In your endeavors after football, has being a football player at KU gave you a leg up any?
Man, listen, I tell people in this game, especially at the level that we played, it's like a black card, dude. I shit you not. It's like Visa everywhere you want to be. I promise you. Because even in the corporate world, it's people are always going to lean towards doing business with athletes and military personnel because we have discipline unlike regular civilian people, right? Because of what's required of what we did or what military personnel, and that again, what Bobby was saying with that level of discipline and success. Let's be real, guys. Like people love winners. Everybody wants to do business and be around winners, man. So it's like football is beyond the field is unbelievable what it can bring you in the places it could take you. I mean, look at all of us. Look at all of our, all of our brothers, all of our teammates, man, that are doing amazing things. That's the beautiful part about this game, man. It can get you places and indoors you can't even fathom.
And let me piggyback on that real quick, right? Like don't ever think you're bigger than the game. No matter what moments you had, no matter what success you had. Right. Engage with people when your football life is over. Engage with people. They want to hear stories, right? People like it. So don't act like you're better than them and you don't need to talk to them and you don't need to share. People, I've learned, right, dealing with like C-level CEOs, CFOs, right? Sure, you're selling them something or you're trying to work with them, but they want the relationship. They want the stories. They want to know what it was like. Going through being on road trips, fighting tough battles. Right. And then, but you got to be humble about it. You can't act like you're better than them just because you played a game. Right. And so that just goes by originally what I said, right. Don't think you're bigger than the game because you're not, nobody is. Right. Just appreciate that you had it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you talked about the business side, Bobby. So if a young man's trying to get an internship or a job with you, you'll give him a little bit of a leg up if he played some ball?
Yeah, I mean, Q hit it on the head, right? I mean, like I'm way more successful with guys that are like-minded, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna keep your head down and you're a hard worker and you're disciplined and we can challenge each other, right? I think that's who people want to work with, and right, it's athletes, it's military people, because it's that the mindset is totally different than, and it's not wrong or right? It's just the mindset is different than the kid who just went to college.
Yeah, it's facts. Yeah, it's just we didn't make it that way. That's just what it is. I mean, people have to understand, right? Military, but especially in regards of being a student athlete, and then especially being a student athlete, man, on the D1 level at the highest level, that we played, collegiate. It's like everyone can't do this, man. Everyone can't. You have to think about it. We're 18, 19 years old with 2 full-time jobs. 2. Right? You're taking 12 to 16 hours, and then you got to strap it up and got a whole nother job. It's like we were doing 80 hours a damn week. Yeah. Like we're doing 80 hours a week. Nobody can wake up and listen, the average person can't get out of bed at 4:45, right? Be at morning workouts at 6. Get your ass kicked by your strength and conditioning coach, shower up, and then be in class at 8 o'clock all the way until the afternoon. They got to go back. You get taped up. You're in film, in install, and then here we go with your second job. Yeah. Man, Pete, the average, this is not for the weak. The average person cannot do that. Period. This is what it is, man. So, no, it's not about saying you're better than everybody else, but damn it, we know everybody can't do this shit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's his fact. I'm sorry.
No, 100%. And you young athletes out there need to realize that. I mean, just you being a part of the team gives you so much leverage. It gives you relationships, gives you ability to network and move. So after your playing day. So great point, you guys, right there. We are on to our next topic. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. You are officially in the locker room with Coach Wood, Q the Guru, and the great Bobby Pesavento, Big 12 Championship quarterback. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, help us build this YouTube channel, you guys. We're on to the next topic. And speaking of leverage, maybe this young man thought he had a little bit more leverage than he did. And Shedeur Sanders, Q, we'll start off with you on this one. Obviously, he had a little bit of a downfall this past weekend with the draft and going in the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. Many draft analysts and the great Mel Kiper had him going a lot higher than that. This has been broken down so many ways already, but I want to look at it a different way, Q. I want to put the agent hat on you. Let's say we can rewind time, and he's coming off of a tough San Antonio Bowl, Alamo Bowl, but you're the agent. The Guru is the agent. So after the bowl game, he's all yours. How are you moving with Shedeur heading into the draft process?
I'm gonna do my best initially, trying to get a temperature on what GMs feel about him way early on, right? Because had they had a temperature on how the GMs and the scouting personnel was feeling about him as far as a person, see, a lot of people don't understand. He dropped because of how they feel about him in large part as a person off the field. It wasn't all about in regards to his ability. He's an accomplished kid. He has the numbers. He has the measurables. God knows he has the pedigree, right, through the bloodlines. But this is a personal level, because as Bobby will explain to you as well, being a quarterback, it's more than the title of being the guy. You have to be like, you have to take all the losses with the wins, right? You have to be the one that does your team believe in you, right? So it's one of those things where even if that's the case, they didn't see that in him. That was the part that they were questioning. Is he going to be out there on some TO crap? Everything's all about me and my next deal with Rolex, or, the next video with Johnny Dang? Or is he going to be the humble guy that even though he's a new kid on the block, even the veterans, man, believe him, right? And they weren't seeing it. So that had nothing to do with ability whatsoever. None. So that's
what you believe they weren't seeing it because of the process after the season.
I agree. So that's what I'm doing as an agent, is I'm getting a temperature and getting out ahead of that. Like, okay, hey, Shedeur, I get it. I'm not telling you from an agent standpoint not to be you, but maybe we need to tone it down. Maybe, we need to kind of chill out on in regards to, man, being in videos or trying to do that. Like, all that will come. More deals will come. McDonald's and Coca-Cola will call. All that'll happen. The only thing that matters right now is that you go first round because you have first round ability. So let's isolate what can prevent us going first round. And they didn't do that. They just was like, hey, I'm me. And, I'm just going to do me and I this and that and the third. And then it was just like, yeah, okay, kid, cool. We'll wait.
Okay, well, this is a good topic to have the gentleman we have in the middle of the screen. I mean, Bobby, you are one of the few to actually be QB1 at Colorado, so you know what it's like there as far as that pressure.
Yeah.
You've been through the professional process, too, of being a pro quarterback. Bobby Pesavento is the agent for Shedeur. What are you doing after the season? How are you moving with your prospect?
Well, I would love to have his dad, Prime, not talk about that. My kid's not playing here and my kid's not playing there, right? Like, I think Shedeur's a really good quarterback. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to have a long career, but I don't think he's a difference maker where you can just start deciding what's going to happen, right? Like, he's a good player, but he's not the generational athlete that his dad was, right? And
That part. That
Yeah,
part.
I mean,
But how do you know that though? I mean, like, how do you know that as the person that's supporting him?
well, yeah, I mean, I hear you. Like, I guess you don't really know. I just look at him, right? He doesn't have like the blow your mind NFL arm, right? He
Right.
doesn't have that, and he's not. And I'm not saying he's not a good athlete, but he's not like a freak of nature like a Lamar Jackson, right? Where he can take over
Right.
a game
Or
with
like
his
Cam
feet.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's kind of just a middle of the road guy. I think he was fortunate that he was in a draft like early on when Mel Kiper had him ranked the number one quarterback in the draft. It was a pretty light draft class on the quarterback side, right? Like, if he would have came out last year, I mean, who knows what would have happened to him with the group that was in the draft last year. But I think he could have done a much better job. I think it was too much about him, right? About Shedeur and look at me, right? Instead of just right, because like, dude, these are guys. This is how they make a living, right? This is their job. They don't want some punk ass kid walking in the locker room and having to deal with that nonsense, right?
Like, makes more than them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, these guys are going home to wives and kids that they have to take care of.
These are
they
facts.
don't want to. They don't want to deal with some 22-year-old punk that is going to act like he's better than everybody else, because he's not walking in. Guy, he's not walking into that locker room. He's not the best quarterback on that roster.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's not. So I just think he could have been a lot more humble about it. I don't know if the stories are true that he showed up to these interviews unprepared, right? I don't know. None of that's been validated. If we know, I do think there's going to be one hell of a 30 for 30 that comes out when they figure out.
Oh, hell yeah.
All the details.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But no, I totally look. I'm with you for. I totally agree. It was everybody, and here's the thing. Everybody wants their kid to win, right? And I get it as far as Deion's standpoint, but you made the point of the night. They're not you. He doesn't run a 4.1. He can't jump out the gym. He doesn't have that, that ridiculous John Elway arm. Like he to me, when I'm and I've actually said that, and I've broken down Tim, and I've actually looked at Shedeur. His keys why he's successful, and I mentioned this before, first of all, T, a while ago, is Travis was out there making circus catches. That's the first thing. Because a lot of those were bad balls. They were. But you got Travis Hunter out there, and it's like, like no one else can make those catches but him. Exactly. Or you're throwing a hitch or a slip screen, and all of a sudden it's a 90-yard TD, but that still goes on your stats. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to look at that as well. But Shedeur is good at he has good recognition, and he's been training with Tom Brady for a long time. So as far as preparation, as far as mechanics, and as far as IQ, he's solid in all those areas. But when you're talking about ability, overwhelming, first round, OMG, throw the ball through a lead wall, nah. He doesn't have any of that.
And I'll add, right, I think the best thing for him, this is going to be the first time in his football career that his dad isn't his coach. The first time.
Damn, Bobby, that's a good point.
So
we're talking about since Little League.
Yeah, his whole life as a football player. I think this is going to be a great thing for him, because now he's going to actually, right, listen, as good as he was, listen, there was a lot of nepotism going on, right? There was a lot of things catered to him that we're going to make his numbers look good and all that stuff. Whatever, do what you got to do. I don't care. But I think this is going to be a great change for him, that his dad's not in the room. His dad's not influencing what's going on, what the game plan looks like, what plays are being called, right? He's going to have a coach that's now going to call plays based off of what's best for the Cleveland Browns, not what's best for the Sanders family.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting, you guys. And that's why I love it. And we wanted to have Bobby on for this, you guys, because he's lived it. We can all sit here, armchair quarterback, but he's actually put on the uniform on Folsom Field and got under center, and knows what this process is all about. So I appreciate you sharing that. We've got one of Boulder's best, speaking
Andy.
of the great Andy
My
Pete. We
man.
love you, man. Three legends up there.
Pete
We got
dog.
mother-in-law. We got a family affair in here. See my wife saying so true too. So thank you guys for joining us. And we've been talking about this topic in the house too. So thank you guys for tapping in. We're going on to our next topic, you guys. And I think this is a big one because we're in a new day and age with college football where it's mimicking pro football. And in pro football, Q, the head coach just says, do the job or get out of here. They don't really care too much about mentoring you or how your back is feeling or none of that stuff. And it's really just straight up business. So now that college is mimicking the NFL, and I'll throw this to you first, Bobby, literally they can go to the portal, the free agency market, and grab a kid and play him for a year. And then it's bye after the semester. Should college coaches still be responsible for mentoring and really looking out for these kids off the field or even post football? Or is it just, hey, no, this is pros, you're getting paid, and you do the job and you get out of here? It's not too much about you as an individual.
I would like to say that they should still be responsible. I would like to see that. But what the NCAA has created, I just don't know if it's possible anymore, right? Because, I mean, these guys are bouncing around. They're not there long enough, right? They don't create relationships, I don't feel like, where, right, like, I still play golf with Coach Barnett, right? 30, 20 years later, right? Because we spent a lot of time together, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he did help mentor us. But I think this day and age it's always been a business, but now it's really a business. And so I don't know if the opportunity is really there. Now, if a kid sticks around for 4 years, sure, I'm sure they do build a great relationship, but that's not the norm anymore, right? These kids are jumping around 3-4 times in their college career. So, mentor them off the field and mentor them after football. I just don't think that's reality. More than anything right now.
You talk to me. I mean, you had coaches come in your home and tell your mom that they're going to watch out for you and turn you into a young man that's worth something after your playing days. Is that something that can be expected of these coaches today? Should they even be mentioning that on recruiting visits? Or is it just, hey, this is business, this is pro. I want your kid, I'm going to pay him. But if he doesn't do his thing, he's out of here.
Man, I mean, no, Bobby hit it, man, square on the head, man. Right now, coaches are going to tell coaches in a lot of cases. I'm not going to say all coaches, but for the most part, there's too much money flying around. The stakes are too high. And people, especially you got these highly recruited 4- and 5-star kids, man, it is business. And you know what happens in business? You say what you got to say to close the deal, period. You say what you got to say and do what you got to do to close the deal. You're going to tell mom and dad whatever the hell you need to tell them at the kitchen table to get this kid strapped up and ready to go for my program so I can win, so I can maintain my $8-9 million salary. And that's just the bottom line, dude. Flat out. So no, you're not going to see the Bobby Bowens. You're not going to see the Lou Holtz and the Barry Alvarez and those type of legendary coaches. That's dead. It's been dead. And it ain't coming back because it's too much money flying around. The only person you're going to get, and I mean, again, you young guys that are listening, you're primarily, especially if you're going D1 big time, we're talking Power 5, high as hell stakes football, right? Any mentoring is going to be yeah. Any mentoring is going to be from your position coach. That's going to be about it. You better get real cool with your outside of that. The coordinator, no. Head coach, hell no. So it's not going to happen, man. So Yeah, and I agree too. You know what, we say this all the time, T, like you don't develop any relationships, man. This guys, man, you come in freshman year, sophomore year, next year, you don't even know 90% of the squad, if you're even there yourself.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and we got Big Ruck. How you doing, baby? Saying agents are the new mentors now. So these people are actually hiring, people to fulfill those roles, or
Yeah,
like you said, Q, maybe the old high school coach is fulfilling
yeah,
that capacity. The
yeah.
great Hannibal Navy's talking of a Colorado legend,
Mhm.
superstar son coming up in the ranks that will be talking to many college coaches. What's going on, Hannibal? Thanks for joining, baby. And then, of course, the great Munoz family, as always. Ernest, Lisa, Marco, we love you guys. King, thank you for joining us out of San Antonio. So that's a big one, you guys.
It
You
is.
parents, these coaches are going to come in and they're going to say, hey, I'm going to be the dad away from home. I'm going to make sure that he turns into a man. Well, that coach may not be there and your kid may not be there. So don't put too much weight on that. We're on to our next topic, you guys, with the great Bobby Pesavento, Big 12 champion quarterback at Colorado, the only Big 12 champion quarterback. And talking to championships, you guys, we've got some college coaches that have NFL pedigree. So Michael Vick comes to mind, the great Bill Belichick, New England Patriots Super Bowl quarterback or winning coach. Frank Reich, former quarterback in the NFL, coached at Carolina. We got Deshaun Jackson, of course, at HBCU, Delaware State. And then Terrell Buckley, you guys, is one that just got a job too at Mississippi Valley State. So Q, I'll start off with you, man, with all of these NFL guys taking their shot at college ball. Who stands the best to have some success?
Belichick.
That didn't take
I ain't even going to let it, if you finish this in Belichick. I ain't going to let you get it out your mouth. Hands down. Hands down.
Okay, why Belichick?
I tell you why, because he's a proven, he's not only a proven winner, it's his method, right? And what I like is, even though he's an older coach, what I feel like, you saw the Bill Parcells and those older coaches that even when they were trying to get back in the league, they couldn't connect with the younger players. And I feel like that he's able to do that somehow, some kind of way. He's been able to do that and still see success over the years, right? So him taking that, right, and bringing that to this era, man, with these athletes, I think he's going to see a lot of success. I do, especially because as far as I know, he has a solid staff. And Mac Brown left the North Carolina, man, in pretty good standing out there, man, is getting back to, a good program. So, no, he'll do well. I expect that out of him.
Okay, Bobby, that's Bill Belichick for the guru. That's the ACC. A little bit tougher. You got Mike Vick, a quarterback-minded person at Norfolk. You got Terrell Buckley, DB, former DB. You got Deshaun Jackson back towards Philly and Delaware. Who do you think we see win some games first?
I got to go with Belichick myself. And I'll give you – my reasons are this. I look at a guy like Frank Reich, who's a proven coach, right? But he's going to Stanford. They're just not in the best shape right now, right? I mean, they brought Andrew Luck in as the GM and that whatever his role is, general manager type of role, right? And he fired the coach, and now they're, I just don't think they're in a great place as a team. I look at the other three guys who are former players, right, that are newer coaches. That's the only reason why I wouldn't give it to them, just because they're new to the game when it comes to the coaching side, right? So I think they just got, and they're at programs that, I mean, quite frankly, I don't know enough about, on top of the fact that they're newer coaches, right? But I look at a guy like Belichick, the team that North Carolina already has. I think he will attract transfer portal guys just because of who he is.
Yep.
He's going to surround himself with a good staff. And I think the kids, right, all these kids know who he is. So they're going to play hard for him and they're going to work hard for him. So, out of that list, I think Belichick's going to be the guy who has success the quickest.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you guys, because now there's the GM role and these kids are getting paid. So a lot of these colleges are starting to go to a more of a pro model. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out with these pro guys coming in to the college game. And if they have success, we'll probably see a lot more. So thank you guys for sharing that. Some of these guys may be recruiting you guys. So good to know who they are and their track record. We are on, you guys, to our next section of the show. And this is a fan favorite portion of the show. Bobby has actually been through this before. So he Bobby go through the lightning round. This is our version, you guys, of word association. Bobby has 60 seconds, you guys, to tell us the first thing that comes to his mind. And since I know this gentleman fairly well, I got a good list here. You ready to rock and roll, Bobby?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
All right. So you guys, he's got 60 seconds. Let me get the stopwatch ready. I won't cheat for him, but I do want a buff to win this, hopefully, because we've already had some KU people win it. We need a buff to win it. So you see that he's at zeros. Let me get him back at zeros there. No cheating. And it's the first thing, you guys, that comes to his mind, unfiltered. Unfiltered. All right, Bobby. The number's 15. The number's 15. Evan Brennan, sports agent, got 15 in 60 seconds. So you got to be 15.
Here we go.
If you want a dinner on the locker room show. If you want some pasta J's on the locker room show. All right, you guys, let's go. The lightning round. First thing that comes to Bobby Pesavento, Big 12 champions mind. Number one. Fort Scott Community College. Go.
Stepping stone.
Favorite place to eat in Boulder?
Pasta J's.
Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Hate them.
Favorite salad dressing?
Ooh, ranch.
Scuba dive or mountain climb?
Scuba dive.
Brock Purdy or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Favorite game day song?
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Dang. Probably back when they used to play like Back in Black when we take the field, AC/DC, when we had all black uniforms on.
AC/DC. J-Lo or Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, man. I'll go with Scarlett Johansson. That's a tough one.
Best you've ever played with?
Dan Graham.
Jimmy Horn. 40 seconds.
Jimmy Horn? What?
Yep.
Jimmy Horn.
Oh, underrated wide receiver.
Favorite candy growing up?
Reese's Pieces.
55 seconds. Cybertruck or Mercedes G-Wagon?
G-Wagon.
Golfing or bowling?
Golfing.
Time.
That's going to be close.
We'll give you that one.
He might have got it. That's going to be close.
Which one? We'll give you that one. Golfing or bowling?
Oh, golf.
He said golfing.
Yeah, I said golf.
And then did you say Cybertruck or Mercedes G-Wagon?
G-Wagon, for sure.
G-Wagon.
Yeah.
All right.
I got you, Paul. I got you, dog.
All right. Well, 15 is the number. 15 is the number. Great sports agent, Evan Brennan. And then he gets one for Tech delay because he's in Colorado. I'm in California. Q is in Houston. So one for Tech delay. All right. So even 14 puts him in the mix. He was rolling. Let's see. All right. Number one. Fort Scott Community College. That's his old JC. He went from Miami of Ohio to Fort Scott, then to CU. He said stepping stone. Great thing right there. Favorite place to eat in Boulder? Pasta J's, legendary. Number 3, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Hate them. Number 4, favorite salad dressing. He's going with the tried and true ranch. Number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, scuba dive or mountain climb. He says, put me in the water. I'm going scuba diving. Number 6, Brock Purdy or Jordan Love. He's going with the Packers. Jordan Love. Number 7, favorite game day song. This one held you up a little bit. He says Back in Black, AC/DC. Number 8, Scarlett Johansson over J-Lo. Number 9, he's going with best player you ever played against, the great Dan Graham. Number 10, Jimmy Horn. He says underrated. Number 11, favorite candy growing up. He's going with the Reese's Pieces chocolate. Number 12, Cybertruck and Mercedes G-Wagon. He's going with the style in the G-Wagon. And then number 13, he's going golfing over bowling. I knew he'd say that. So with the tech delay, 14. He was so close.
It was a
the
game day song.
It was, yeah, man.
Game day song. Caught y'all off guard, Buffalo. So
it's been way too long since I was getting ready for a game.
It's been way too long, baby. So we love it. All right. So we are on to our last portion of the show, you guys. Once again, with my former teammate, Big 12 champ, Bobby Pesavento, great quarterback. You guys, if you're live with us, the comment section is open. If you have a question for Bobby, but Q, I know you got something for the QB.
Oh yeah, I got a good one. So four. Here's a question for the night, man. All right, need you to think back real quick. Was it right out the gate in that Texas game that you were like, okay, like right out the gate? I'm sure it was no doubt, but was it a point in time in the game, early or later on, where you were like, damn, we about to pull this shit off? Like, was there a particular drive and you were like, oh shit, we about to pull this off, boys? Like, you know what I'm saying? Run me through that real quick.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of emotional swings in that game because we came out hot, right? And our defense created turnovers, and we were kind of kicking their ass. And then they pulled Sims out of the game, and Major came in and just started dialing, man. I mean, he was just throwing dimes all over that field. And they fought back. I promise you, I don't think I felt good until Flores hit that field goal to put us up, 9, I think, whatever it was. But no, I mean, I think in the first half, right, that we had a lot of confidence and we felt great. And then they put Major in, and it kind of they were coming back and they were fighting back. And then, I mean, I don't think, I think that field goal that Jeremy Flores made to put us up near the end, I didn't feel real good about things until that thing went.
And that was like under a minute left.
Yeah.
See, what I thought you might have said, which I can kind of, I thought it was this one drive, right? I think you guys would maybe have been like on your 20 or 30. And of course it's my dog, but you started hitting Cortland on these slip screens, on screens. And it was this, you were just killing them. And it was that drive. And I remember it was like on that series, it was like you hit Cortland like 2 or 3 times on that screen. And I was like, oh, then they picking it up like they driving it. And it was like from that moment, it was like y'all didn't look back. From what I remember, like I said, I know y'all were there, but I just remember it was that one particular drive you just started putting together for what? Because what happened was they were so aggressive up front, and you were just dumping it to Cortland in space, and y'all were going to work.
Yeah. Man, so if they would have left Sims in the game, I would have felt great. But as soon as they put Major in, it was a different story.
Yeah, but actually, there was 3 parts to this thing, Q. There was the first part. They drove right down on us with Cedric Benson and scored. And it was looking like the regular season game. We lost 41-7 during the regular season. We were everybody on that sideline. You lying if you say you weren't. As soon as they went down right away and scored, you're thinking it's the same damn thing almost. Yeah. Then the defense started getting turnovers, 4 turnovers. In Texas country, you guys, they still look at this as like the biggest loss top 3 biggest losses in their program's history. They thought that was in the bag. Yep. So then Sims starts acting up and turning over the ball. And then Cedric Benson and Mike Williams, who was the number 3 overall pick to the Bills, the old tackle, ended up hitting each other, trying to tackle Medford Moore on an interception and knocked each other both out the game. The number 3 tackle in the country is knocked out the game. And the number 4 or 3 pick in the country, and Cedric Benson is knocked out the game. That's when that's when the doubt started on their sideline. When both of those guys got knocked out and we were creating turnovers. Then so the first part, they're whipping our butt. Middle part, there's like 4 parts to this game. We start whooping their butt. Then Sims or Applewhite comes in, brings them back, and then we score late at the end to seal the thing. But
and then the one thing I'll never let Gary forget is the worst fake punt call in the history of college football.
I remember that.
Fake punt.
I remember
That
that.
almost lost it for us. So
It did, yeah.
So no, that was destined, and there's no way in the world we do it, you guys, without this gentleman
Thanks.
here. So I
Thanks.
got a ring at the house. We get love whenever we go back to Boulder Q, and a large part is because this man right here in the middle of the screen. So hey, I love you, Bobby. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. And let me make sure we don't have any questions. Hell yeah, that's right, baby. We got the great Andre Giroud in the house. This is somebody, you guys, that's the current offensive line coach for our Buffaloes. We love you, Dre. Cell block, all pro, second round draft pick. It doesn't get any better than that, man. Speaking of jerseys retired, maybe one day we'll see a 65 hanging in the rafters in Boulder. But thank you for joining us, Dre. Love you, man. So, hey, Bobby, thank you, dude. I know everybody up there is doing big things, but I always want to get back to you, man, and appreciate you coming back on.
Thanks, fellas. Love doing it, man. You guys do what you guys do is great. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Dog.
All right, you guys. So, hey, that is the great Bobby Pesavento and Q. Man, it's beautiful when somebody isn't supposed to be the guy, quote unquote, but he's ready to be the guy.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I wanted to ask him that, was because he fights through all this quarterback controversy, and then the next thing you know, you're under center in the biggest game of your life, right? And it can, but the thing, it can happen to any kid, right?
Change his life.
Yeah, that can happen to any kid. You know, he made a good point early on in the show. Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady until Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. You have to think about it. Drew, for people that don't know, I know that was a little ways back. Some of you youngins might not know, but Drew Bledsoe was like the second coming of, well, I mean, well, yeah, they might not know Dan Marino, but anyway, but I mean, like Drew Bledsoe was the man. Like he was along the lines of almost a generational quarterback. All the intangibles, anything you could imagine, like a creator player quarterback. He was badass.
Tom Brady wasn't supposed to play.
Wasn't at all. You know, and it was just pure preparation and being ready. And you go from already legend's backup to a legend in your own right, and arguably one of the greatest of all time, man. So that's how much preparation.
There's a list, man, of amazing Big 12 quarterbacks, dude. You know, the Major Applewhites, the Michael Bishops, the Seneca Wallaces that have never won a Big 12 championship. Quarterback their team to a Big 12 championship, and Bobby wasn't even expecting to have to do that, and he came through. You know, he came through. So that's an amazing lesson for you young athletes out there. You can change your life being the number 2 guy if you're ready when that opportunity comes. So hopefully you guys will be ready. And if you guys aren't, we want to help you out. Before You Go Pro is a recruiting and mentoring program. That's why we do the Locker Room Show, you guys, to give you some advice, give you some value, give you some tutelage so that you guys can do big things in this industry. We've been doing this for over 2 decades. Players playing across the country. We've got a resource library that's plentiful for you guys to take advantage of. So definitely check out beforeyougopro.com. If you are a 2026 athlete, you're on the clock. You're on the clock, baby. And then the new day and age. We've been talking about it just tonight, but it is a new day and age. This is pro sports, and this isn't just football players, you guys. You could be a basketball player, baseball player, a swimmer. Now's your time. Now's your time to activate your name, image, and likeness. Try to make some money and put some money in your back pocket and grow your future financial stability, you guys. So definitely check out NILLLC.org and check out beforeyougopro.com if you need some love and support. So Q, we had the crazy draft last week, and you know, now these guys are pros. They're pros, the Travis Hunters of the world. I know that your boys, Melo and Kobe, got kind of done wrong. Rock Chalk, because I was real high on them boys, and they had to go undrafted free agent. But anything for the good people before we get out of here, baby?
Hey, definitely. Again, hopefully, man, your favorite team got the guy, man. And I think the fun is every year seeing how these kids, because you start tracking their careers professionally, how they end up panning out, you know. And the funny part about it, we see this year in and year out, you see a lot of first-round picks that you'll never hear of again, and you'll hear underdrafted free agents that'll end up with a gold jacket. That's the beautiful part about this game, man.
Yeah, every draft is going to have at least one or two, maybe gold jackets. So it'll be interesting. Tell me this before we let you go. Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, the great wide receiver.
Yeah.
If we take him from Columbus and we plop him in this draft, how high does he go?
Oh, man, he's a first. I put it like this. He would be either right in front of Travis or right behind him. He'd be top 5.
Wow.
He'd be top 5. And we're talking like scouts, like that's unanimous. Like the research that I've done, unanimous.
So true freshman that obviously Ohio State utilized to win their national championship. You take this true freshman that got played 2 more years in college and you put him in this draft from last week, you stay in top 5?
Top 5. He's the way that he was described by some scouts is he's a more refined Megatron, if you can even fathom that.
So we talking about a gold jacket.
We definitely with no injury, no off the field issues, definitely.
All right.
Like that like they're expecting that from him, like nothing less. Nothing less. He's not.
All he has to do is stay healthy.
All he has to do is stay healthy. You can't stop. You just can't. I mean, I don't care if you put a safety over the top. It doesn't matter what the coverage is, because he's one of those people, again, like a Megatron of the great receivers that we know, like the Randy Mosses, that it doesn't matter what you do to stop them. If the ball is in the air and it's in their vicinity somehow, some kind of way, I don't care if they catch it off the back of their helmet, your helmet, tips up one hand, whatever, they will come up with the catch but the thing is, over and over and over. It's not where you see it every now and then in the circus. We're talking like multiple times a game. Like, how the hell did he catch that one? How did he catch that one? And it's repeated. So that, my friend, is called a pattern. Once you see a person that has a pattern of making crazy catches like that, you can't do nothing with them, man. And then on top of that, then has all the intangibles, all the measurables. You can't do nothing with them, man.
Tell me this. What's a solid season in Guru's mind for Travis Hunter as a rookie?
On which side of the ball? On which side of the ball, right?
Assuming he's playing both, whether limited or full.
Right.
What's once again, assuming he's playing both, where do you sit back and say, "Oh, that was a solid rookie season"?
I would say about maybe 3 picks and about 700 to 800 yards receiving.
Okay.
Which is doable.
He's in the Pro Bowl if he does that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is doable.
So when they draft you number 2, it's for a reason.
You ain't lying.
Everybody
put figure out how to get him that ball, and then he's gonna play D. So I mean, he has the ability to do that. So it'll be fun to watch.
All right, you guys. Well, hey, we hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. This is the show with the great Bobby Pesavento, quarterback, Big 12 champion, the only one at CU. That's the guru, Coach Wood. We love you guys. Come back next week, because I got a special pup that has come through our program that's going to be on the show next week, and he's playing some pro ball, and excited to introduce him to you. So, hey, be back in the Locker Room Show next week. You guys that are young players out there, the off season is your time to get where you want to go. So make it happen. All right. We'll see you at the top.